I'll describe for you how I grounded the boat. First thing I did was to check the tidal range from the local charts. It goes from 7.8 to a -3.5, so that's an 8-foot range, which should certainly be enough to be able to ground the boat. My plan was to ground it at about 4 feet and have enough here to take it off at about 4 feet before coming to this tide at 6.7 feet. Notice that this happens during the daylight, and if I can't get it off at this point for some reason, I could do it the next morning. Next thing we did was a site survey, looking for rocks at the intended site. What is the bottom light? Is there any current that's around there? Do I think that the ground is sloped enough that I might need to have some kind of blocking under it? How much do I expect the holes to flex? If I need to set a kedge, is the bottom going to support that kind of a thing? Etc. Everything looks good. Here I set up range markers. So this pole that's in the ground and this white marker, which is all covered when it's at high tide. I also checked the weather forecast to be sure nothing was going to be happening that would interfere. You can see it's an overcast day. Not much is going to be happening. And the next thing was to compare very carefully the charts with what actually happened at the dock. It turns out that even though the tide station is only a mile from where I am, there's about an hour's difference between the two. So noting that hour's difference turned out to be very important. Here it is, we're measuring that. We can see what time it is and what the drop is, using the actual and not the charts. So once I decided to actually go for it, I notified helpers, put the fridge on propane, noted the water line at the bow of the boat at the dock, so I could see what it really looked like when it was about to come off at the grounding site, and then left. On the way over, I pulled the center boards up and uncleated the rudders. I didn't lift them, just uncleated them. As I'm gliding in, following those range markers, I killed the engine and marked the new shoreline, which you can see here. Here's the shoreline and here's my mark. Also noted the time. Now I'm ready to go ahead and close the engine seacock and close the air conditioner seacock so that they just don't need priming to get restarted. Raise the drive leg, raise the rudders. I open the cabinet doors and drawers because I'm expecting the boat to flex as it settles in, and I don't want to be twisting any of the furniture. Dug out under the rudders and proceeded to do the work. So here's what it looks like. The boat is grounded and the bows are just starting to come up. A little furthermore, at this point you can see the boat is completely grounded and it's supported right from here to here. This is the lift point and it's supported here. So it's not supported at the lift point, but I felt comfortable in having it just like that. It didn't appear to flex more than about 1/8 or maybe 3/16 of an inch. Here's the dugouts that I made for the rudders here. It was just a couple of inches or so. Very important to have the drive leg raised. If it's not, then the boat's going to be suspended by that and will probably rip everything out of the transom. We only had a little bit of growth on the hulls. I don't know why there was so little. I was expecting the thing to be covered with oysters and limpets and things, but there wasn't much at all, surprisingly. I don't know what kind of paint this is, but it certainly does a good job. Here we are hard at work underneath, enjoying the task, and even proceeded to wax the hulls. So now the tide is coming back in and we're approaching this mark once again. So I know it's almost ready to go. Watching the bow's water line, and when it was nearly free, I lowered the drive leg, closed the cabinets and drawers, opened the engine seacock. I actually forgot that for a moment. Lee caught it, and we opened the engine seacock once again, opened the air conditioner seacock, and just waited for it to be floating. It's very distinct. You'll know it immediately when it's floating. Started the engine and backed out. When the water was deep enough, then lowered the rudders. Don't want to lower the rudders, of course, while they're still contacting the sand, as backing up over them would force them into the cassettes. When we got into deep enough water, put the center boards down and motored away. So I don't say this is the way to do it, but it is something that worked for me. I encourage you to figure it out for yourself.